My girlfriend wants to take a trip across the country alone with her guy friend. She says I'm controlling, and that I don't trust her if I refuse to let her go. I met my current girlfriend in our freshman year of college. We hit it off almost instantly and became pretty fast friends. After being friends for a while, I asked her out and we've been together ever since, coming up on 2 years in October. Recently, however, she and I have been fighting over a proposed trip she intends to go on at the end of this month. She has a friend, Jake. I was always aware of him since he lives in her dorm and we've hung out a couple of times. But in the Venn diagram of our friend group, he's always been very firmly in the her circle. I've also always believed that he had feelings for her from only knowing him a few months. They've always spent an inordinate amount of time together, even more than most of her other friends, and often more than I get to see her in a week. He's also made occasional inappropriate remarks about her, which I won't get into here. I've brought this up to my girlfriend multiple times, but she insists he just sees her as a friend, and while I think she's incorrect, I don't think she's being dishonest. I trust that she has absolutely no interest in him that way, and so I'm mostly okay with their friendship. At this point, it's honestly kind of a joke between us. Well, things between us have soured over Jake in the last week or so. His birthday is coming up soon, and he asked her to go on a trip with him to LA, which is on the opposite side of the country from us. She mentioned the plans in a kind of offhanded manner, and when I said I wouldn't be comfortable with that, she and I got into an awful argument about it. As it turns out, he paid for the trip including plane tickets before asking her. And when he asked her, she already agreed to go. I asked her not to go and said I'd find it incredibly inappropriate and hurtful, especially since he only booked one room for both of them. She said I was being hurtful to her friend and would really hurt their relationship. She also says that I was being controlling and accused me of not trusting her. There's a lot more details, but I don't really want to go into them in this post. What should I do? I want her to be able to enjoy the last of her summer break, but I'm just not comfortable with this situation. Would it be too unreasonable to ask to go with him? Relevant comment. I personally would walk away. She is willfully ignorant, thinking Jake has her best interest at heart. He actively makes inappropriate jokes about her and clearly has feelings for her. I don't care about friends of the opposite gender, but this is a hard pass for me as a person. She wouldn't like it if a girl was talking about your physical features and then off you go to a faraway state one-on-one for a birthday celebration. He doesn't respect boundaries, and he sounds creepy. Hopefully, he doesn't do anything unsafe to her. I would bring up these points again, and if she dismisses them, then that is your sign. Opie. They're not explicit or physical. Instead, they're more just deeply inappropriate for their level of friendship. Like a fake proposal with ring pops, calling her his friendship soulmate, and telling a real estate agent they were newlyweds when the two of them were checking out an apartment for him. Update. Hey everyone. Just wanted to post an update on my relationship with my girlfriend. Sorry if this doesn't make sense. I'm exhausted, emotionally drained, a tad tipsy still and going through it. So we split up. I was with her pretty much all night tonight, and only just got home. And yeah, we're done. It was ugly, there was a lot of crying. Now I know some of you might have questions about why I did it. To explain it, I need a metaphor. Have you heard the parable about a boiling frog? Where you slowly turn up the heat on a frog in a pot so it doesn't realize it's being cooked alive. Well, if you gave the frog a thermometer, it might suddenly realize that it was being boiled and hop out. That's what my post on here was. It wasn't until I was reading through and considering responding to some of the comments I got that I realized how big the problems in my relationship were, because they'd started small and built up over the course of literal years. I decided that whether or not my GF decided to go was ultimately inconsequential. The truth was, this was never about the trip. This was about my GF's treatment of me. The truth was, I trusted her on the trip. Deep down, with every fiber of my being, I trusted that she was sincere in her denials of their situation. I do not believe she would have done anything, but I don't think it matters. The simple fact is she'd been consistently downplaying and disregarding my feelings for years, all the while defending Jake, who had been manipulating her and several of our other friends. I could go into why I think this is the desire to be a hero, etc., but none of it matters. She dismissed my feelings out of hand, and was willing to hurt me, harangue me, and belittle me in defense of Jake's behaviors, which she ultimately admitted were sketchy and manipulative. That's just a cold, hard fact. Those aren't traits I want in a partner. And now I don't have to worry about that. As for me, I feel like my world just ended. Like someone shoved a vacuum hose in my sternum and slurped up my insides. And whatever they stuffed my newly empty space full of is cold and prickly. I'd love if someone could give me some advice on how to handle this. I've never had a breakup this painful before. I'm also having serious regrets. Please let me know what y'all think. Right now I'm going to get plastered and go to sleep and hope somehow my life is bearable in the morning. Relevant comment. You are a great example of learning to set boundaries and gaining self-worth. Props to you, brother. It's going to hurt for a long time, but time will eventually drain that cold pain in your chest and it will fill with boiling courage and independence. Worst thing you can do, relapse and run back to her. Keep your eyes on the path ahead and get excited that the girl that respects you is closer than you think. Opie. Right now it's not even grief, I'm sure it'll come later. But that's not what I'm feeling. I just feel cold. Not angry, not sad, just cold. I keep thinking about how much pain she's in, and I know that I caused it because I wasn't happy. It all seems so selfish, but I know I have to put the oxygen mask on myself or whatever. She cried, a lot. Asked me how I could to us, to her. Told me we could fix this, that I'd never given her a sign, etc. Yeah. She's blocked right now. I just don't want to see those messages at the moment. I don't know how long we can keep it up though. We have a lot of the same friends and move in the same social circles. Comment. Update. Opie. It was rough for a while. I'm not gonna lie, it still is. I didn't realize how many parts of my life she'd touched until all of them started aching. And now I'm having to deal with the lingering pain of all the things I don't share with her anymore. I've had good days and bad days, but the good ones generally outweigh the bad. Our friend group split up right along with us. There were a couple of ugly fights and I lost a few good friends, but I take a sort of tragic pride in the knowledge that I kept most of our friends in my life. I'm very glad they've been so supportive of me right now. In unrelated but important news, important to me at least, I had to put my cat down last week as well, and I'm just generally not having a good time. But this week is a lot better than last, so things are trending up. I went back to the gym for the first time in literal years, and it's been nice. Still getting back into the swing of things and trying to get comfortable in a new gym, which takes some getting used to. I've been taking care of myself in other ways. Listening to a lot of sad music, starting up a D&D game, and just generally taking it easy. I might even try a bit of writing again. Don't know if this is the kind of update you're looking for, but it's what's been going on. Comment. Can you provide the details of Slimy Jake's behavior? Just to satisfy our curiosity? Or maybe we can help out by commiserating with you. If it's too painful right now, I understand. Opie. Jesus, where to begin? Sorry in advance if this gets vitriolic, but this is just a tad raw. In the original post I kinda mentioned it, but the real big thing is this. He has like 4 friends total. Like that's his whole social world. And his friendship with them is super codependent. He has mental health and alcohol issues. I don't want to diminish that. They're real, and I think him getting treatment might help things. But he uses that fact and some oh-so-convenient breakdowns to keep his friends from leaving. So they get to rush in and take care of poor damaged Jake, and feel like saints as they nurse him back to health. It's so freaking toxic and codependent. But if you say anything, then you're the bad guy kicking an emotionally vulnerable man while he's down. If I had a nickel for every time he promised this would be the last time and he'd get help, I'd be able to buy him the personal private therapist he so desperately needs. And between that, there are these big elaborate gestures. I was only barely surprised when I heard he was flying my ex out to CA. It's just the type of thing he'll do. As a list of other stuff he has. Sabotaged my project in a class we had together. Literally just found out about this 2 days ago, long story. Called my ex a bitch and a fake friend when she wouldn't bring him to this fundraiser as her +1. Cheated on his past girlfriend. Got his underage brother drunk without his brother's knowledge. And then just small petty things, not paying a few of my friends back for money they lent him. Sat on his phone playing games while other people were moving. His couch. Sent my ex emergency messages while she was on dates with me or was studying for her final. And I know it's dumb, but one of the things that got to me most is that I have never, not once, seen him hold the door for anyone. Doesn't matter if your arms are full of fine china. You're opening that door yourself, buckaroo. Comment. No questions, only very sorry you lost your kitty. Opie. Thank you. No one else seemed to comment on that, so I'm glad someone did. As dumb as it might be to say, that nearly broke me. Especially coming on the heels of a heart-wrenching breakup. I feel like if either one hadn't happened, I'd be better equipped to deal with the other. But as it is, I'm devastated.